All right, now we're good. Okay, so now I am up. So here's the, so I was talking to myself just a minute ago. So what we're going to be doing tonight is playing with some of this stuff, and there's a deal. So the deal is, if you go to the link in the video description, you can go to the Amazon page, and over there, there's a sale. So most of this stuff is like 10% off. So good deal. Stock up, because these things are inexpensive and you can get a whole bunch of things going in your house. And what we're going to do is take them out of the box and set them all up. And what I've got upstairs right now is the door lock. That's ready to go. I've got the app here running on the phone. And let me try to do this real quick, see if it'll, yeah, look at that. That's pretty cool. Real time. Isn't that neat? So I've got the app running on the phone, so we'll look at grouping these things together. We're going to look at doing some scripts and things that you can do to try to automate your procedures. So that's how we're going to do stuff tonight. So we'll go for about 2 hours or so. And if you go onto the Amazon stream, 10% off. That's the deal. And I'm trying not to make this into the home shopping club. What I'm trying to do is, when I've got these live streams, which we do all the time, I would love to do once or twice a week where we're going to do a stream about something, and by the way, here's a discount. You know, that's kind of the plan. So we're going to see how this plays out, and if you need any of this stuff, you can stock up. So I think what we might do is, let's start off with this item. We'll start with is not one of the deals tonight, but it's so inexpensive, you may as well just get one. And this is their camera. And I've got a bunch of these, so you can just see what it looks like. And this was their first product. So if you're not familiar with this company, and by the way, this is not a sponsored stream. The deal is I'm getting, affiliate revenue if you buy stuff. But these are products that I've been using for a while. I've bought a lot of these, and they have sent a lot of these to the channel. In full disclosure, all this stuff they sent to us for tonight's stream, but there's no, there's not an advertisement here. This is stuff that I use, all right? And I've bought this stuff. So this is the camera. This is kind of what started the whole thing. And the app is really slick for this. It's a really nice app. Now, I don't have a camera currently on my network, believe it or not. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff going. So I'll just show you, like when you're in their app, what it looks like when you have one of these things on. So let me go over to, it looks like my phone just disconnected from the NDI broadcasting. So let me start that up again. And we got some folks jumping onto the Amazon chat. So BB Garnett is here, and Jorge Martinez is here, and Dennis is here, and E Vega is here. And then on the YouTube chat, we've got a lot of folks popping in. And I did fix the sound. So who's here? Dennis Black, B. Tabalba, Ed H., Patrick Chang, John Moshi, Mr. Pixel, Gotwire, S. Keeperson is here, DK Savage is here, Vincenzo Manfredi is here, Dennis Black, Asim Sood, Ken Anderson, Chriso, T-Dub 116, Gotwire, Chriso again, George Mann, and Greg M. So there you go. Yeah, so the camera is not on sale, but the camera is so inexpensive, you may as well just get one. And what's cool, I have these in the other room. They have these neat little things that you can get for the camera, these little sensors, and they have a device that plugs into the back of the camera, and you can have it look for motion, you can have it look for contacts changing, so you could have like doors kind of armed for movement and stuff. Somebody wrote in and said they had one of these sensors in a mailbox. Every time the mail person came, they could load it up. And then when you have the camera set up and kind of in its armed position, what you'll get, and I'll pull up the app here, what you'll get every time it fires off is the events that occurred, or you can watch the camera live. So right now, this is my backyard. And you can hear the crickets. Well, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but you can hear the crickets out there. And that's a live view. And this would be a similar thing that you would get on the indoor camera. And then you can also look at events, and it kind of puts them all into one big thing here. And you could filter it by which camera, for example. So right now I just have it showing me all the cameras, but I could filter it down by the cameras that I have set up. And you can just kind of jump through and see every event that occurred. And earlier today we got the fiber optic partially installed, so I'll show you that in the equipment room in a little bit as well. But it's cool. You get all these nice notifications. They have person detection, so you can see all the times that it found a person walking in front of the camera there, and we can play back the recording that happened. And there I am. And what's neat about this is that on the indoor camera, because it's powered all the time, they have an SD card, so you can continuously record to each little camera in addition to sending it up to their cloud. And what I've long liked about these is that they're super inexpensive and there's no subscription fee with them. So it's a good deal, you know, and you just buy it once and you're done. Now they're doing stuff where you can pay extra for longer cloud storage, but if you don't want to do that, just put an SD card in and let it continuously record. And you can move these things anywhere around the house. They work over Wi-Fi. It's all self-contained. It is good stuff. So I've been really digging that. So John Moshi wants to know, do I drive a big GMC? No, those are two Ford trucks actually, but I don't drive either one of those either. My sister, so my sister is a horseback rider. I'll pull up the shot here of the truck again. My sister is a horseback rider. That's one of the fiber guys walking by. And she has a trailer that she tows. And at the moment, I forgot what the set of circumstances were, but I had my father's Jeep here, and she needed the Jeep because her car's in the shop. And so she dropped her truck off here and then took the Jeep. So that's what happens is I have the biggest driveway, so everybody just drops their cars off here. The good news is that I always have an interesting car to drive. So that's been fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you the fiber stuff later tonight. So stick around for a little bit. We're gonna have some fun with showing you my fiber thing. And I haven't looked at, so I'm curious as to how this works as far as the deal goes, because I guess if you go to the live stream, let me pop into it real quick here. So let's see, Wise Live. And we'll pop in. I'm just looking on my computer to see what it looks like, because I haven't done one of these before. So yeah, so I think you click, there's a click here or a tap here, and I think that's what you do. Okay, so so underneath my video, if you're on desktop, there's a link that says if you click here, it'll give you the 10% at checkout. So that's what you do there. BB Garnett's asking, what size SD card would I recommend for the camera? I think you could get by probably with a 32 gig card, maybe 64. And what'll happen is it's going to recycle. So as you're going through the recordings, it'll erase the older ones. You can lock in ones that you want to keep. So I think you should be fine with that. But it's good stuff. So Jorge Martinez took the discount. Good. I am glad you were able to get in on that. Yeah, this is again a fun experiment. We have a few others lined up that I'm still working on. From some other brands, so it'd be kind of fun to do that. All right, next we're going to do something that we did a live stream about a little bit earlier, a couple weeks ago. And this is one of their newer products, and this is their door lock. I just got to find something I can open the box with. I forgot where my knife went. This is the door lock, and I have one on my door right now. As a matter of fact, there it is. That's the door lock. And what I wanted to do is just show you what it looks like here in the box. Now, what's neat about this is that it's not that expensive. I think it's probably one of the least expensive ones on the market. And it works great. And what it doesn't use, like you don't have to replace your entire lock. So the outside of your door lock is the same. This is a replacement for the interior portion. So this will move your deadbolt, but you're not taking out the deadbolt. So if you're happy with your lock and you have keys already, you can still walk up to the door and use the key. But this is adding automation to the inside, and it'll open and close the door lock. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. So let's take a look at what's inside. I'm not going to set one of these up tonight just because it'll take a while. It doesn't take that long. I mean, I got mine done in like 20 or 30 minutes, and there's a live stream where we actually did do the setup. But it's pretty simple. You just unscrew the inside of your lock, and then this will replace the interior portion of your lock. And it's all, again, pretty simple to get up and going. And if you check out that live stream, you can see us doing that. And you've got a little magnet here for the batteries. And this is what you use to get the app started initially. And then once you have everything dialed in, when you turn the knob here, it will lock and unlock your door. So it's good stuff. And the way it works is over Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi is not built into the door lock. There's a module that you use with it. And someone's asking, does it work on SmartThings? I don't know if it does. That is a good question. We can look that up real quick. And if anyone from Wyze is on, maybe they can chime in on this. Let's see, Wyze Lock. I think it's its own thing, but let's take a look and see. You might be able to bridge it through something else maybe, because these things are IFTTT compatible, but I don't believe at the moment it uses SmartThings. But if you check out my review of this, I showed a few examples of how you can go through it all and check it out. And I'm seeing too, Edman says there's a huge difference between the Amazon stream and the YouTube stream as far, yeah, the Amazon video quality is excellent. And I'm wondering too if things might improve when I upgrade my connection. Because I don't know if Amazon's doing some kind of video enhancement, because I'm sending the same exact stream to both places. So after we're done with my upgrade for the connection, this will be the better looking stream. We'll be going at 4K probably, because I can. But we'll have to see how it all comes together. So in any event, you put this kind of nearby, and this is the Wi-Fi module. And this will communicate with the lock over Bluetooth, but Wi-Fi goes into this. So I have mine, like you can't see it on this image, but I have mine kind of in, like to the right of the lock on an outlet on the right-hand side. And it was pretty easy to get it all set up. And what's nice, and you'll see the setup on some of the other products, they're all pretty quick and easy to get in there. You got some batteries here. The battery life will vary based on how often your door is locking and unlocking. And I'll show you some of the app settings for it, because it'll detect whether the door is open or closed or ajar. And you can set alarms, you can have it auto lock after it's been unlocked. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. And then there's some hardware here. They have different hardware depending on the kind of lock that you have. I have like a quick set lock, I think, that I attached it to. And remember, your existing keys will still work. So that will be what it does there. Dennis is asking about Siri compatibility. It is not Siri compatible. These are not HomeKit compatible at the moment, unfortunately. So, and I found, because I have so many of these things now, I've been using the Wyze app a lot more. It does work, though, with Google Home and Alexa, so if you are using those, you can make use of it. And I actually am a split household, so I have Google Home that I use in 2 different rooms, so I can use this stuff with that, and I have some Amazon stuff down here, so I'm able to get it to work with most of my voice things. You got to be careful, though, with door locks, because you don't want to be unlocking your door with voice, especially if somebody can be heard through the door. But it's been working pretty well. Let's see what we've got here. Grayson Petty's asking, what if I don't want to replace the interior side of the doorknob if I'm living in an apartment? And I guess that's not something you can, it just wouldn't be for you then. In most cases, like these smart locks tend to look about the same whether or not they're standalone or not. So that would be that. And yeah, this one will talk to its, you don't have to connect it with the Home Assistant, but it runs through their app, which I believe is going over the internet. However, the lock does support Bluetooth, and I'm pretty sure that if you don't, and don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that if you don't connect the module, you can just unlock the door with Bluetooth if you want through the app. But they really want you using the gateway so that you can get it working over the network. I'm just looking through the instructions here. I'm pretty sure it's Bluetooth compatible. And the reason is that they have an exterior number pad here. And so you can put this outside. This is an optional add-on. And you can put this outside and then just punch in a number or code that you can set, and then people can unlock the door without a key. And you can expire those codes as well. I'll show you how all that works in a second. So Edman says, I think it would be cool to install a lock like this that does not have a keypad. That means if someone broke in by tricking out the Wise lock, you would know it would be an inside job. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I like about these lock replacements is that you're not replacing the locks that you already have. You might be happy with what you have, and you can still use your keys if you want, and you can make it smarter for other folks. All right, so let me show you how it all works here. It's pretty simple. So let's pull this up. All right, so now we're back on the app, and I have set up previously my front door. And I'm calling this front door 2 because I actually have 2 front doors. And if I just want to unlock it, I can tap on the lock thing here. Pretty simple, right? There you go. And that's upstairs. So I'm down in the basement right now just unlocking this. And I can do this from anywhere in the world, really. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner there, it says closed. And that is that the door has detected that it is not open. But if it was ajar or something like that, it would detect that it was, and you can have it send an alarm and that kind of thing. And if we scroll through here, you can see it keeps a log of all the activity, and it did detect the door opening, so I let the dog out at 10 of 7, so you see where it says opened, and it will, oops, hang on a second, hit the wrong button. It'll give you all that data. So it's pretty cool, and you can set events to trigger based on some of these things. And if we go into the settings here, you can see that how I have it set up. So I have notifications on for when the door is locked and unlocked, and it knows the difference between a manual lock and unlock, where if you're just twisting the dial or using the key versus an automated one, and you will get those notifications. You can also have it set to alert you when the door is opened or closed, so there's a lot of notifications that you can configure there. I have it set to auto lock, so if I forget to lock the door, after 30 minutes it will lock. So that's something, just one of those peace of mind things. Did I lock the door? It'll just lock for you if it's unlocked for more than 30 minutes. So that's how that works. Michael S. McPherson says, I'm not sure why I can't get the discount. So my understanding of how this works is that when you're on the Amazon Live, are you on your phone or on your computer? So on the computer, there's a thing that says get 10% off. You got to click on that. And once you do that, when you go to check out, it'll apply the discount. So you're not going to see the price on there immediately. I am, though, going to check how it works on the Amazon app here on the phone just to see what the deal is with that. So let's take a look at that real quick. And let me just go home and let's go to live streaming, Amazon Live, and let's take a look and just see, let's just make sure we understand how this works. So if I click on, what's interesting is, so I'm on like the home page here. Let me show you what it looks like. So here I am on the home page. Okay, so what you need to do is click on claim. And when you click claim, then what'll happen is you'll get the discount applied when you check out. So let's hit learn more here and just see. Yeah, so I think it'll do this when you go to check out. And yeah, I'm not sure, Michael, what's going on there. Now on desktop, if you clicked on the claim there, again, it won't show up until you go to checkout. I think at the end of the checkout process is when you should see the discount applied. And if it doesn't work, let me know. I think some folks from Amazon Live might be in the chat, so if they are there, maybe they can offer some assistance. So sorry you're having trouble with that. And I just got to adjust this. I moved something here. Okay, so let's go back through the lock here. So hopefully that'll get fixed there for you, Michael. I'm sorry. I don't know, maybe Wikibuy is messing around with it. I'm not sure if any plugins would interfere. So we've got it set to auto lock after 30 minutes. You could have it auto unlock. So that would be something when you come home from work or whatever, you can have the door unlock when you pull in the driveway. I tend to leave those things off, but you could have it do that if you want. This is the keypad where you can control the keypad and the access codes. So I do have a keypad. I don't have it on the wall outside, but it's somewhere in the house that's picking it up. And what you can do is create guest key codes. So I could call this test, and I could set it to be a one-time key code. So if I have maybe somebody dropping off a package, they can have a code and it'll work one time, and then that's it. They can't use it again. I think that's kind of neat, isn't it? You have another option here for recurring things. So I could set it so that it's only, let's say I have somebody coming into the house to do some cleaning or something, maybe Wednesdays at, just on Wednesday. So I could say only Wednesday between these times. So maybe, 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. And then I could set that code, and that person could get into the house only Wednesdays between those times. So it's cool. You can have some access control here. And it's a lot you can do with this stuff. So I think that's pretty neat to have that level of control. Alarm settings is pretty cool as well. So here, if the door is jammed, so if it tries to lock and it can't get the lock to engage, it'll push an alarm and a notification out. It will beep. It's not very loud, but you'll be hearing it beeping in the house. And if the door is left open, it's also going to alarm, and it'll push a notification. And for me, what I've done is I've said, if the door's open for 30 minutes, let me know. Because oftentimes I'm going outside with the dog to take her out, and sometimes the door will be open for 5 minutes. And it's sometimes annoying to get constantly alarmed there, but you have some ability to adjust that. So it's pretty useful. I think it's a good, for the price, I think it's a very good lock. And I've been using it now on that door ever since I reviewed it, so it's been fine. I haven't had to change the batteries. It's been working. It's working pretty well. So I've been digging that. Now the access code requires the module though, so you do have to pick up the keypad, which is an option. And this is battery powered also, so you don't need to wire anything up to it. And if you're interested in seeing what it looks like, we can open it up real quick. And this communicates via Bluetooth, so it'll just connect to the door, to the lock over Bluetooth. So let's open this up real quick. I got this little screwdriver thing here, that'll help. I'll show you what the keypad looks like. So we got some more folks jumping in. Gordon Smith said, I purchased a Synology NAS. I wonder if the cameras could be linked to the NAS. So yes, in fact, on the Wyze cameras, they have a custom RTSP firmware that will work with the Synology. And I did a video on that a while ago. You lose some of the functionality, so it's not going to be, you're not going to get all the features that they're advertising for the camera when you turn on that firmware, but you get most of them. And it's thick gasket on it as well, so it's weatherproof, because it's going to be out there getting wet and stuff. So it's pretty useful. So a little keypad. It's got nice clicky buttons. So good stuff. All right. So there you go. And hopefully we're not having stream problems. I just saw the stream kind of black out for a second, so let me know if things are not going well. I am using Restream.io. I'm testing it, and so far it's been pretty good. And we're still on the old connection. We haven't yet upgraded to the new one yet, so that will be happening in the near future. So yeah, Dennis says that it looks like we had a little bit of a dropout. Yeah, my internet connection continues to be a problem, and hopefully we're only like maybe a week or two away from this problem being completely resolved. And I'll show you, I will show you when we get to the end of the stream the fiber optic cable that has been dropped off at my house. So I'm super excited. We're so close. I was hoping they could splice today, but they had a little trouble, so they're coming back, and that's how we're going to get that done. So there you go. All right, so next up, we have their smart plugs. So let's open these things up. And I've got a bunch of these right now. In fact, my studio lights are running with these smart plugs. So I'm going to show you that in a second here. So let me just change one thing on this. Bear with me for 1 second. We're going to have this connect to, I'm just going to just adjust one setting here. So I'm going to have the 2-up, have this 2-up image here. So we're going to switch this over to me. So let's go to, I need to go into the settings here. Oops, but what did I do? Hang on. I'm getting echo because I hit the wrong button. Bear with me. What did I do? Okay. All right, we're still good. Okay, sorry about that. I just started clicking things and everything got messed up. So we're going to go over to my setting here, and we're just going to change one thing. And I just have to remember how to fix this. Oh, that's right, I can do it over here. So we're going to say layer 2, and we're going to switch this. I'll just put this, yes, it's live. So I'm going to switch this over to my camera. There we go. So, okay, so we're going to take this out of the box first, and then I'll show you how these things work. And what just happened? Hang on one second, folks. I am messing everything up by pushing too many buttons at the same time. Okay, we're good now. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's weird. You know what's happening is as I'm hitting keys, it's changing my setup here. All right, let's see if that works now. I think that's going to work. Yeah, we're good now. Okay. All right, now we're better. We're back. Okay, so let's get this going here. Yeah, so I like the door lock. I think the door lock has been useful. I've got a lot of doors in this house, so I've got a bunch of different locks on different things. And what's been good about playing around with the Wyze stuff is that because I have so many different Wyze devices on the network, I'm starting to use Wyze stuff more. So I've replaced, on my garage, I replaced my Blink camera with the Wyze outdoor camera. And that's been working. I think it's a little better than the Blink camera in a few areas, so that's why I've been using that. And now that things are I'm starting to add more things. I'm starting to group things together. I'm doing some rules, and we'll play around with a few of those rules here in a second. So let's take these out of the box, and I'll show you what these look like. And these are as simple as you can imagine. And if anybody wants me to set one of these up, I will be happy to do that. All right. So let's open this up here. Wrapped tightly in plastic. So this is it. And what I've done is I have 2 of these set up in the studio. So I have 3 lights above my head. And what you got here is the plug that goes into the wall. And then these things connect to Wi-Fi on their own. And then you plug in your device here on the front of it, and you can control it with the app, or there's a manual switch here on the side. You can just push the button, and that will turn the lights on and off. And that's how that works. So Mike McPherson's still having trouble getting that coupon code to work. I don't know what's going on. I think you got to make sure you're in the U.S., and I would assume that you are. But if you're out of the U.S., that could be why it's not working. I think it's U.S. only at the moment, unfortunately. Now, one of the things that I liked about these is that they actually can take a good amount of power. Let me get the amount here, because it was listed somewhere on one of these things. Let me look that up, because you can actually, I would be careful like plugging in like super high drain devices or super high amperage devices. But I remember when I reviewed these that they did have a pretty good threshold. So let me just look that up real quick so you can get an idea as to what you can plug into it. Wyze plug maximum wattage. So let me just check that. Yeah, so it looks like the Wyze plug can handle, I think, 1,800 watts. But let me just, I'm sorry, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Hang on. Let's see. I'm just looking up the specs here to make sure I get the information correct as to what you can plug into it. So let me pull up the tech specs here. Bear with me, I'm just looking this up. Can I use, okay, here we go, power specifications. Okay, so max output is 15 amps maximum, but that's still quite a bit, especially, if you're plugging in light bulbs and that sort of thing. You should for the most part, have a good amount of flexibility with this. And what I wanted to show you is that I have 2 plugs right now, and I'm pulling this up with me on it here. I'm going to take my phone out. And if you look, I have 2 plugs here called the studio group. So I've got one over there, and that one controls these 2 upper lights. So and I can control these individually or together. So if I want to just kill the 2 lights above me here, I can flick the switch this way, and that'll just turn off those lights. And then I can turn these back on, and it usually happens pretty quick. And then if I wanted to kill my main studio light here, I can just hit this one, and that'll turn off the front light, and I just have my overheads going. And then I can turn that back on. So the other thing that I do is when I come down here to shoot a video, I use the group. So you can see I have the studio group here set up on the list, and I can just hit a button, and there you go. It just turns everything on. So when I come downstairs, I just go on the app, hit the button, it turns all the lights on. And what I'm probably going to do with these other ones is I have a few things that I always forget to unplug that don't have switches. So I've got like this, and in fact, I left it plugged in last night. I have a little video capture device down there that I left on all night, and I always forget to unplug it, because you can't flick off the switch. It has to be unplugged, so I'm going to put one of these on there and control it with that. And because you can go with 15 amps out of this thing, you can essentially you could plug in like a little power strip or something. So for the overhead lights, these have 2 separate plugs, so I have a little power strip plugged into it. You just got to be careful. You don't want to exceed the maximum that you can draw through it. But for these lights, they're LEDs. They're not that, they're not that powerful. They're not drawing all that much power. So those worked. So 15 amps. And I think these are on the higher side, because I don't know if all the other smart plugs out there do 15 amps. But that's the maximum. So that's something to check out. And like I said, I don't do a lot with these things. I just turn them on and off, but it's nice to have them. And they've been working pretty nicely. And then you can start playing around with some funky rules too, which we'll get to in a minute. So we've got that. And I want to make sure that my studio lamp, is that plugged in? Yes, perfect. Okay, so that is the smart plug. And I'm going to show you how you can put all this stuff together in a few minutes too. And Dennis did the math. So 15 amps at 120 volts is 1,800 watts. So you could run a pretty decent device off of it. I just always get nervous about having some high draw device running when I'm not in the house. I'm just one of those people. But you do have some flexibility there. All right, so the next thing we're going to unbox, unless any of you have questions about the device. Oh, Macri wants to know, what would happen if you exceeded the maximum? I don't know. I would imagine there's probably a fuse or something in here that would trip. If the wire that you're plugged into got too hot, your circuit breaker would trip also. I'm pretty sure there's probably some safety measures on these to ensure that bad things don't happen. So that is how those work. And let me get out my little screwdriver thingy, and we'll open up the light bulb. And these are the light bulbs. And I just realized I haven't been hitting my little Amazon button here for the products that I'm looking at. So this is their light bulb. And another self-contained thing. So this doesn't need any, and I've got one plugged in over there, so we'll take a look at that in a second. This doesn't need any extra stuff. So you plug it into your lamp, and it goes on your Wi-Fi, and you're good to go. And you can control it with the app. And it's a light bulb. Now you do have some controls on it. So I'm going to adjust my camera here. And we're going to point it at the lamp that I have on the other side of the room here. Hopefully I've got a clear shot at it. Let's see. Yeah, I got a good shot there. So let's just get the camera set up. All right, so now I'm going to pull up our 2-up view here again. And this time we're going to switch to camera 2. And we'll cut to that. So let's take a look at the studio table. And I'm going to show you how to get all these things kind of integrated in the app, because there's a lot of flexibility that you can do with this. So on the surface, the real simple thing here is I can hit the studio table and just turn it on. And there you go, the light is on. nothing fancy or complicated there. These are not color, these don't have a color to them, but you can adjust the color temperature. So I could make it colder, or I can make it warmer. And you can find, kind of the thing that fits best there. John Moshi says, I can see the plugs turning on all the Christmas lights. And yeah, in fact, I was using the smart plug. You'll see in a minute, one of the rules that I have is a rule for my tree when we had the tree upstairs. So that is something you can definitely do with it, for sure. All right, bear with me, folks. I keep hitting this button that is messing up my thing here. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see, Jojo wants to know about battery life. I'm not sure what you were asking about on battery life, so I will get back to you on that. I'm just going through some of the YouTube comments here. Kane Anderson wants to know, do I know if Wyze is working on a wall switch version of the switch? I don't believe so. I haven't heard anything about that. Tech Flood wants to know, they make a smart plug with an Ethernet input. No, these are all Wi-Fi. In fact, I'm sure there is probably an Ethernet version of something like this out there, but they don't do Ethernet on their stuff. Actually, the outdoor camera does require Ethernet, but everything else is Wi-Fi. Travis Rhodes just stopped in, so welcome. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube and just tuned in, we're simulcasting this on Amazon. And if you go over to Amazon, some of the stuff we're playing around with tonight, you can get 10% off. So we're just messing around with Wyze. We're going to get into some of the coding that you can do, or the scripting, to do some fancier stuff and grouping and all that good stuff. So it's going to be kind of fun to play around with this. All right, so we got the light on here. Remember, it's not a bulb that can do colors, but you can adjust the color temperature, and you can find the temperature that works best. And I like mine. In fact, I actually have a couple different scenes that I set up. So I have like my nighttime scene. I like a little warmer light at night. So I have night here, and I can call that one night. And then I can make it a little bit colder, maybe for the daytime. Let's call this one day. And when you program all this stuff in, if you have it connected up to the Amazon AWord or the Google Home, you can request these settings, these scenes, or program these scenes through those apps as well. And Sam's got it. What a wise guy. That's it. So these are good bulbs. I mean, again, they're not that expensive, and you can get 10% off tonight with our little thing we're running here, so have at it. You can also adjust the brightness, so I can just kind of tweak everything a little bit here and get it to where I want it. And the scene will record the brightness and the color temperature. And then you can replace the scene if you decide you like something better. You can also set timers, so you can have the light automatically turn off after a certain length of time if you want to do something like that. And then, of course, you've got all sorts of settings that you can do here. So the name of it right now is the studio table. The sleep routines. By the way, if you're curious as to the brightness, this is 800 lumens. But I found, like, I use one of these upstairs in my secondary office, and I've got one on my nightstand, and I found them to be pretty good. And what I do, because, to be honest with you, smart bulbs have their place, and it's nice to be able to turn on the light in the bedroom occasionally if I want to when I'm not in the bedroom, but it's often easier just to reach over and hit the thing to switch it off, right? So if you go over to power loss recovery, you can have it automatically turn the light on. So right now the light is on, right? Maintain the previous state. So if I were to turn the light off physically, when I turn it back on, it'll come right back to where I last left it off. Or I can have it turn the light on every time power is restored. And that's up to you. And of course, if you don't want it on, you can just log back in and turn it off. But I have mine set to just turn the one in the bedroom to turn the light on whenever the power is restored. But down here, that lamp, to be honest, is used mostly just for demoing. So this one, if it's off when the power gets cut to it, then it stays off when it comes back on again. So that's that. Matt Green says he wants to call this late. Yeah, we should do that. Late nights with Lon. Sounds like a lot of fun. So we could do that. This is my second late night in a row because we did one last night too, in case you missed it. I didn't do it on YouTube because yesterday was like a completely lost day. So I think I told you all, those that saw this last night on Amazon, my wife has braces right now. She's getting her teeth adjusted. And when she has a cleaning at the dentist, she has to go to the orthodontist and get the wires taken out. Then she's got to go get the cleaning, and then she has to go back to the orthodontist to put the wires back in. So it's an all-day affair. So I had to supervise at-home learning for the second grader. and I just couldn't get anything done. And I needed to get that video that I did. I just wanted to get, the way I feel at the end of the day is directly tied to how many videos I have in the hopper. And if I don't have a video in the hopper, and I like to get at least 3 out a week, plus the wrap-ups of 4 videos a week, if I don't get 4 out a week, I feel inadequate. And so last night, it was like 8:30, 8:45. I was ready to shoot the video on xCloud, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it now. And I hit the button on Amazon to stream out, and because I didn't have the thumbnail ready for YouTube, and I just kind of did it on Amazon. And it was fun. We had a lot of people tuning in on Amazon. It was great. So that's that. And Travis Rhodes, yeah, you know, it's funny because that fiber is in the closet right next to me now. It is in the house. It's here. It's just now the splicing that has to happen, and I have no idea how to splice fiber. And seeing some of the difficulties that the guy was dealing with today, I don't think I want to know how to do that. So we have some sleep routines here. So you can have the light kind of turn on at certain times, and you can set the settings for that. So you have a wake up and a bedtime, and you can have it kind of fade down and get you ready for sleep. You know, you've got some stuff you can do there. We have the scenes configured here. This is where you could update and change them if you want. You have the ability to do schedules and automations, and that's the rules. And I'll show you that in a minute, because we're going to like tie all this stuff in together that we've been playing with in one shot here. So we have that, and we did the power loss recovery. You can also share your devices. This is kind of a mechanism that they have within the Wyze app. So I could share this bulb with another Wyze user. And again, it connects all up with the Amazon A-Word and everything else. And I can show you that real quick. Let me pull up my A-Word app here, and I'll show you how that integrates. My Amazon thing is such a mess because I don't use it all that much. So it just gets, I use it for when we do this stuff. But I generally don't, I don't do a lot of voice activation stuff. It's just not my thing. I do have a Google Home that I use quite a bit, and I have the Amazon, like I said, the Amazon stuff down here. All right, so I'm just looking through here. Let's see, Studio Table, here we go. So let me just add this real quick. So on Amazon's A-Word, and I say that so I don't set off your devices. Oops, it looks like I have renamed this. Hang on a second. It was responsive a second ago. I think I may have to re-add it. Let's go back and just, I'll have to find it in a little bit. It does work. I have to probably reconnect everything. There is a skill for Amazon for Wyze, and you can get all that working. So that is that. And yeah, so don't worry, folks. A little bit later, after we get done with all this, I promise you we will take a tour of my equipment room where there is a big spool of fiber optic cable just sitting there waiting for us. It was fun actually watching them. I'll show you the video of them pulling the cable today also. It was very manual. I thought it would be like this whole big production with equipment, and there was equipment, but they didn't use it all. It was just like they were just running cable through this conduit. And the conduit goes, like, I think it's like 800 feet. It goes all the way down my driveway to like the midpoint between me and the 2 houses behind me, and then it comes all the way back. We did that whole thing on the wrap-up this week. It's pretty wild seeing how all that works. All right, so let's play around with some rules now, because we've got everything kind of in one piece here. So you saw that we set up groups, and I could group things together. So I could even say in my studio group, I could add more to this. So for example, I think, I could add, let me go back here. I think maybe just a plug group. Let's see, let's go to edit rules. Oops, sorry. Let's go to add. Let's add a device group. Oh, I see. So you can group different things together. So you can do a bulb group or a plug group. So I've got a bunch of bulbs in the house, so I could group together my upstairs and downstairs and nightstand if I wanted to. But the fun thing is the rules. So here we've got one rule, which was turn my tree on, which was from Christmas time. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to set up a trigger, and we're just going to call this test. And I'm going to have it do all sorts of crazy stuff. All right, so device trigger. So let's have the front door when it unlocks, okay? So that's going to be the trigger point. And we're going to have it do something. So we're going to have it, let's have it turn off the studio group. So you saw that I could select the main studio and the studio lights, but because I have them grouped, I can have it act on the group in a singular fashion. So when the door is unlocked, I'm going to have it turn the lights off. And I can add more to this also. So I could also have it turn off the studio table lamp as well. So what will happen here is when the door unlocks, it's going to, let me save it real quick. And by the way, you have an if here as well, so you could have it do this only if it's a certain time. So this rule would apply only at a certain time of day. All right, so here's the deal. The door is going to unlock, and it's going to turn all the lights off. All right, so let's save this. Now, of course, we would need to do one that would turn everything back on again as well. So here we go. So we're going to go back to, I think I may add another window here so we can see the door unlocking and all the other stuff that happens. So bear with me for a second. We're going to add another layer. So layer 3 is going to be the door lock. So let's put that on there. I'm going to just adjust the scaling of that. Bear with me for 1 second. This will be a quick and dirty little scaling job, but it'll be good enough to show you what happens. So we're going to have the door lock over here. And then I'm also going to add me to this mix as well, so because we're going to have it act on the studio lights at the same time. So I'm going to take this and zoom me out here. There we go. All right. So make that a little bit bigger. All right, so you see the lockdown there, and you're going to see me, and then we're going to see this lamp, which is overlay 2. And I'm just going to move that up a bit. Oops, wrong overlay. Hang on. Overlay 1, maybe. And we'll move. Oops, that's the wrong overlay. Also, that's the background overlay. I'm messing everything up today. So it must be overlay 3. There we go. Okay. All right, so we have me, the lock, and the lamp, right? And our rule is going to trigger on the door unlocking. So we're going to go over to the front door. And again, the front door is upstairs. I'm going to hit unlock, and when I do this, all the lights will turn off. Michael McPherson's wondering, is the price, no, so the price with the discount should be less if you are able to get that coupon to engage. And if anyone else is having trouble with the coupon, let me know. Okay, so here we go. And we're going to unlock that door. So now the door's unlocked, and as you can see now, it just turned everything off. Now what I don't have is a rule for when the door locks again. And I need to make sure I turn these off before, or delete these before I do that. So we're going to go over here to device trigger, and we're going to call this test 2. And what we're going to do here is, and I'll just merge this in here so it'll be a little less distracting here. So what we're going to do here is say when that front door lock locks, we're going to have it turn on the studio group. And you got to make sure you click save in between these things, by the way. And we're going to have it turn on the studio table lamp. Save that. And you saw also in the studio table that we could go in and actually adjust some of the color temperature there too. And it looks like I'm having trouble with the stream again, folks. Bear with me. We're back, hopefully. Okay, I think we're back. I think we're still here, hopefully. It is streaming again. And I think we're back up. So this will end soon. Not the stream, but these problems. So the reason why the stream is lagging is because I have a bad connection with Comcast, which they have finally rectified with me, and I'll show you what we're rectifying in a little bit. So in case the stream was messing up while you were watching here, what we've done now is created kind of a reverse rule so that when the door locks again, the studio group will turn back on and the studio table lamp will turn back on again. All right, so we're going to save that, again, triggered by the door lock. So let's jump back to my view here. You can see the lights are still off. And let me just go back to, whoops, I got to go back to my, I had the wrong thing here. So bear with me for 1 second, and I will put this back on here. Let's go back to Wise. Okay, I went too far on that. All right, so now we're going to go back to me. And what we're going to do now is we're going to relock the door because the door is unlocked right now. So when I lock the door, it's going to turn all the lights back on. So there goes the door, and now it'll trigger through the app to turn the lights back on. And there we go, back to normal. Pretty cool. And so you could do a lot of this kind of grouping, and all of these different things will do different things. So we could even go, let me go back over to my other view here just to show you. We could do some other stuff with these rules as well. So I can go and edit these rules and just look at some of the other things you can trigger. And again, there's no limit to how many different triggers that can happen. So for example, if I had my camera on right now, I could have it, if somebody unlocked the door, I could have it upload a short video to the cloud of what just happened, or maybe a video that was trained on the door when the person came in. I could send a notification out. I could do a whole bunch of different stuff based on things going off. And if you have things like their contact sensors, you could have those be your triggering point as well. So that's how that works. Yeah, Michael, I'm not sure what's going on your end. I know some people have been able to get it to work, so I will touch base with Amazon in the morning and just find out why it's not working for you. I'm sorry you're having so much trouble with it. It said that it was supposed to do it at the time of checkout, is what it said. So we could run through it in a minute and see what happens when I try to order it. Maybe I'll do that real quick. Let's just have a look at that. So I'm just going to go to Amazon Live real quick here, or to the Amazon app. And so I'm going to claim the discount. And if I go, here, so discount is claimed, and if I go here, and I'm just going to go and, okay, so I'm going to go here, I'm going to add it to my cart. Maybe I'll do a light bulb because I don't want to buy another lock. I've got too many locks already. So we'll go to the light bulb here, and then if I go to add to cart, if I go into my cart, I'm just looking through my app here to see what happens. If I proceed to checkout, yeah, it's interesting. I'm not seeing it on mine either. Let's see, items, shipping and handling, tax. Yeah, I wonder why it's not, unless it's already applying the discount in what it's showing you there. So which item were you trying to buy, Michael? That's what I'm trying to figure out, like what exactly is happening with that. So let me go back here one more time and just see if I can figure it out. Because some people have been getting the discount without a problem. So I've got the discount claimed, 10% off applied at checkout. So let's go back to my cart. Because yeah, it should say like right before you go and finish the transaction. Let's see. Unless it does it like when you place the order, but usually it shows you before it goes through there. So I'm not sure, unfortunately. So I wouldn't want anyone to risk that if it's not showing up. But if anyone did get the discount to work properly, do let me know. And it could just be a mismatch on one of the items that we've put on here. So it's interesting. Unless it's already giving you the price and the thing there, although I'm not sure. I am not sure. It's possible. So the other thing that could have happened is, and I don't know if Wise did this or not, they can limit how many they give out. So, and I don't know, I don't have a way of knowing how many have been claimed, but it's possible that that perhaps they like more got sold than they had allocated. So that it's possible that could have occurred here. So I will have to check with them in the morning too and see. All right. So I'm sorry that wasn't working there for you. And it may not be giving it to me because I'm the one doing the stream, so I don't know if I'm not getting it. Edmund wants to know, can you put a timeout rule to have it turn off 10 minutes later? Okay, yeah, so let's try that. So the question is, can you have the light turn itself off after it's been on for a length of time? So let's go and try that out real quick. I'm going to delete these rules that I set because every time anyone in the house unlocks the door right now, it's going to mess up everything. So we're just going to go and delete this rule. And we're going to delete the other one we created here. So the question is, can you have the light turn off? And I think actually you can set that rule, if you're talking about the light itself, I think you can set it here under the sleep setting. Yeah, so in the upper left-hand corner, there is a timer here. And if I turn this on, I can have it turn the light off after 5 minutes, although I don't know if that's persistent. Let me see here. So turn light off after 5 minutes. Okay, so that's just right now, so that's not what we want. So let's see if we can set a rule up for that. And it might be, yeah, under schedules and automations, okay, so we would do it here. And then we'll set a schedule. Oh, I see. So you want the light to be on for 10 minutes and then turn back off again. So there might be a vacation mode. Let's see. All right, this one will like turn your lights on and off so it looks like you're at home. Let's try this one real quick. Okay, so that's just random. Let's see. I think what we can do is maybe go back to the rules and see if there is a rule for that. Actually, I bet you there is one. So let's go edit rules. We'll create a new one. And let's device trigger. Let's see what options we have on the bulb. So on the studio table, okay, here you go. Perfect. Yes, there is a trigger. If the light has been on for, so, oh, look how granular you can get with this. So if the light has been on for 15 seconds, all right, let's try this. And you can see how you can nest these things, so you could have it turn on the light, and then if the light's still on after X amount of time, have it do something else, right? All right, so we're going to say if the light's been on for 15 seconds, action, turn off the light. So let's go back to studio table, and we'll turn it off. All right, so now let's go back to, I've already like totally messed up my 2-up view here. So let me get rid of some of these things that I have on here. So let's say layer 4, we're going to turn that to none. And layer 5, we don't need to lock at this point. We're going to turn, oops, layer 5 is off already. Layer 3, NDI New Tech, yeah, I'll turn that off. Okay, so now we're just going to move this one back down. Oh, we could leave it there. Okay, so now we've got this on. So I'm going to hit save, and then we're going to wait 15 seconds, and that should turn it off. So here's the rule. Studio table, if it's been on for 15 seconds, turn the light off. And it's giving me a warning to say, hey, the trigger is for the same device. You really want to do that? Yes. All right, so now it's running. So let's see what happens here. We may have to turn the light back like on and off again just to get it to trigger, but let's see what happens. And it looks like it's not doing it yet. So I'm going to turn it off, and then we're going to turn it on, and we're going to wait 15 seconds and see if it turns back off again. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it could be that we sold down on the coupons. That's my only thinking here if you're having trouble getting the deal. There it goes, just turned off by itself. Isn't that cool? And then I could turn it back on again. And it's kind of like stuck in this loop now, right? Because it's going to turn off after 15 seconds. But yeah, so if you wanted to have it, maybe if the power went out and you wanted the light to turn off after, an hour, you could have it do that. And I think they add a lot of these, like they add more variables that you can play around with on these too. So there's a lot that this does, which I think is pretty cool. And then you can see some of the other actions that we can do here as well. So let's go back to the lamp. So you could have it, here, I'll get rid of this one. We could have it maybe turn the brightness down, right? You can get really nuts with this. So we go studio table, set the brightness to 50% after it's been on, right? And we can do that. So now, if we turn the light back on, it'll just turn the brightness down to 15 seconds. So you could have it like go in a loop, you know, like 15 seconds, you know, they can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So now it should dim the light in a second here. At least it's supposed to. Unless I had to do it on the wrong lamp. I think there it goes. Yeah, it just dimmed a little bit. It's hard to see on camera, but it did dim it. So that's cool. So yeah, good stuff. Edman says, if you have a light in your garage, it would go on when you open the garage door and off when you go into the house. Yeah, you could do that. And actually, what they have, we're not going to cover these tonight, but I'll show you them. They have these. Let me go get them real quick. They have these contact sensors, and this requires the camera. And I have such a mess down here. I've been meaning to get these to do more with these contact sensors. If I can find these real quick. Actually, I've got a fresh box in the back. I did find my keypad. Where did I put them? I just like straightened up this whole place, and then I've misplaced everything as a result. Let me go get the fresh pack out of the back room. So talk amongst yourselves real quick. I'm just going to go grab those. My mic's going to cut out here for a second, so don't worry. I'll be right back, and I will show you. Okay, so these are their little sensors. Now this requires the camera, that inexpensive camera. This is called WiseSense. And what these do is they add some really cool sensor capabilities to your camera. And so this little sensor here just plugs into the back of the camera. And then when this is in here, this is what communicates with these little things. And you can have like a ton of these connected. So this is the contact sensor. And the way this works is that the circuit is closed if the magnet here is attached. So what you do is you put one on one part of the door. So like when the garage door opens, that separates, and you can see it's blinking. It'll blink red. Watch. See how it blinks red? So when it starts blinking, it is transmitting back to this receiver here. And that will allow you to trigger events to occur. And they've got a motion sensor. And I forgot how many you can have hooked up at once, but you can have a bunch of, they give you two in the box here. This is my other one. You can have a bunch of these. So you get one of these, sorry, I'm confusing people. You get one of these and two of these and the module for the camera. And the range on these things is really good. I mean, it's crazy good. So I reviewed these before as well. And these are fun because they can really trigger a lot of cool stuff within your house, so you can have it turn lights on or notify you or do whatever when things are tripped. Like I said, like somebody on the review that I did commented that they were using these in their mailbox to know when the mailman was there, which I thought was a really cool thing. So Jonathan Suggs was talking about the motion sensor. He's got one under his bed, so when I get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, well, that's really, so he's got it all figured out. So Jonathan says if he gets up out of bed, and that's the thing, this motion sensor is not a camera. It is just an infrared sensor, and it is super sensitive. Like that thing goes off like the second it sees, and it's not false alarm sensitive. It's like really sensitive. So what'll happen here is, like he says, he gets out of bed and in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and it turns on a light strip under his bed. Isn't that cool? That's a great idea. It's not blinding, but I can see the bathroom in the same, and you can even have a bulb in the bathroom turn on, right? And then once it stops detecting. So the way these things work is you can set rules based on how long they're detecting for. So let me show you that real quick, because that is kind of a neat feature here. So let's go back to the triggering event. So let's edit this and we'll go to the motion sensor. So when it detects motion, when it becomes clear, or if it's been clear for a length of time, right? So in order to be clear, it has to detect something first. So I could say, all right, it's been clear now. So let's say the bathroom example. If I'm just going up in the middle of the night to do number one, I could have it maybe set to turn off after 10 minutes, right? And then there you go. Or you could do the same on the motion side. Actually, yeah, the clear is what you want there. But that's what I would do. I would say 10 minutes, turn the light off. And you could have it trigger when it detects motion to turn the light on. So I think that's how that would work. BB Garnett says, what you're saying is you shouldn't insult the sensor. Yeah, you should never insult your sensors. That is important. And you can get, that's right. So you can have like 100 sensors on one camera, which is crazy. Because they're super simple. All they do is send a signal when something trips. There's not a lot to it. They do run on like little watch batteries, but I think they'll run a long time. I don't think you're going to have any problems with that. The one gripe, if I have any with these, is that they're the sticky stuff you have to replace after one stick. So get them in the spot you want, because it's not replaceable sticky stuff. You can obviously get more sticky stuff if you need to. Jojo has it set the mail. Okay, this is cool. He's got his going with his mailbox to set up when. Oh, that's cool. So his A-word, his Amazon A-word will say, you've got mail, when his mailbox is triggered with one of these things. So that's cool. So yeah, you can do a lot of neat stuff with all of these things. And here's what I've liked about them is twofold. I have like this gripe about buying things that come with monthly fees. And with all this stuff, it's all, you buy it and you don't have to pay anything more. If you want to get longer cloud storage, you can get longer cloud storage. But in the case of the cameras here, you have an SD card, it'll continuously record, you get all the cloud features, and they're very affordable. So I think it's a good deal. And like I said, I'm using these things. This is not like me, they're not, this is not an app, by the way, I haven't disclosed in a while. This is not a paid advertisement. They did provide us these products to showcase, but I have bought a lot of these over the years. In fact, I just bought the outdoor camera. They sent me one, but I had ordered one also, and I'm going to be setting up the outdoor camera, and the second one, in a different part of the yard in a little bit. I've bought a couple of these over the years. I think I bought the sensors a while back. It's all good stuff. It's really good stuff. So I've been really, really happy with how that stuff's been working. And I just want to check on the Amazon feed here. I'm just trying to make sure that this discount thing is still working. So if I click on that, so I'm on desktop right now. And if I click on the lock here and then add it to the cart, I'm just going to see if it's going to give me the discount now. It could be that we exceeded the quantity that they said if it's not working, but I'm just going to double check it real quick and see if it's still working. If you have a hard time getting the discount, let me know. Because this is an experiment. We're doing like a test here to see how this runs. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It could be that they all were claimed already. That's my guess. I'll check with Wise in the morning. We're going to do another one of these because they're sending over some more stuff for us to do in a future one. So we're going to check and see how this one did and kind of figure out how it works. Let's see what we've got for questions here. So yeah, that's the Wise thing. I mean, I just wanted to try this out and show you some ways that I've been using it. I'll probably do a video on some advanced features. I got to get what I need to do is get some of these cameras set back up again and get all that going. And when I do that, we'll start playing around more with it. And I'm thinking about it was nice. The guys that came out to bring the fiber into the house are contractors that do a lot of low voltage wiring. So I may start. I'm probably going to get Ethernet drops like all around the house, just to have them out there, and then I can do my PoE cameras and stuff later, and then have these kind of supplementing that. Because you could, like I said, this camera, they have a firmware that will allow you to use this with just about any RTSP compatible NVR. So these are great floaters. They don't consume a lot of power. So you could set up a bunch of these little cameras here in maybe indoors somewhere if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a big, fancy, expensive camera. Get the RTSP firmware, link it up with your existing NVR system. Just know, though, that it's going to be continuously transmitting video over Wi-Fi. So you may want to segment your Wi-Fi network for that. But if you're just using it in its native firmware, the only time it uses the Wi-Fi is when it's sending a notification or it's sending a video to the cloud. Otherwise, it's on the SD card and it'll stay local to the camera. So it won't use up that much Wi-Fi on its own. So that's how that's working there. I'm just reading. Jonathan Suggs is like, he's all in on this, which is great because it's really helpful when somebody who uses this in a way that I'm not is on the chat, because it really is helpful. So if you're on Amazon watching, he said that they have a new hub now that's acting like a central DVR. They actually improved the stick. I'll have to check that out. Let's see what else we got here. Alvaro Cagina just got the moving camera. Oh, yeah. So they have another one. I'll show you that one too. Like I said, I have all these things. And I just need to get them all set back up again. And I've reviewed all these. So if you go on my YouTube channel, or if you're on Amazon and you go to the product pages, you'll see my reviews of these. This is their PTZ camera, or just PT. It'll pan and tilt. Does not zoom. And you can control it. You can move it around. It can go on patrol. It's cool. It's neat. And this one also, I believe, works with the sensor thing. So you can plug your sensors into the back of this one too. And this one's not that expensive either. I think it's like 37, 38 bucks, 40 bucks, something like that. So it's good stuff. So Andrew H. was asking about a security issue they had. They did have something related. It was not the cameras themselves. It was where they were storing some data. It wasn't as bad as I've seen other issues. But one of the things that I've found is that just about every company has had some kind of security issue over the years. It's kind of par for the course with this stuff. But I've been very happy with them. So I'm good. I'm good with these. Adam Shaban has his connected to a Raspberry Pi 4 via HomeBridge, and now they stream to his Apple HomeKit devices. So that's one way to get the HomeKit working, would be to go through a Pi 4. That might be a topic I should explore, because I would like to try to get, I do like the HomeKit stuff quite a bit, and it would be nice to get these integrated with it. The other thing you can do with these is, with the cameras, they do work with your AWORDS with the screen, so you can ask it to pull up the outdoor camera or the indoor cameras. You can do that as well. So yeah, you've got a lot of neat things that you can do. So yeah, so that's the Wyze stuff. The deal is still active. Like I said, it's not working for me, and I suspect that we might have sold out. So I will check with them in the morning and see how all of it went. And I got to get off in a few minutes, but you all wanted to see the fiber. So we're going to do the fiber now. I'm going to show you all of that. So let me switch my phone here into its NDI camera mode. And I bought this gimbal thing, and I never use it because I have to go get it, and I'm too lazy. So I'm just going to go pull it up here on my phone, and I'm going to show you the fiber. It's nothing exciting to look at just yet because we don't have the fiber installed. He was not able to splice today, so we're going to get going. Then I'll answer some questions too. So don't worry, I'll answer a few more questions. I'm going to switch to my NDI camera here. And I'm going to show you the fiber. So let's open up the equipment room here. I don't want anyone judging me on my cable management because it's awful. And I know it's awful, and I'm going to fix it, but not right now. So here it is. So what they did is they came in. This is the fiber here. This is 12 fiber cables. This is a 12 cable. So there's 12 fiber strands in this cable. And you got to be careful with this stuff because this is glass and it's very delicate. So we're going to be careful with this until it's firmly put in place. And what you can see here, oops, so this is running out to the street. It's probably, this is like an 800-foot cable easily. And it's spliced at the street, and it's going under conduit for the most part. And I wanted to show you, if I can get it on camera here, where did it go? So there, if you can see it, those are the little fiber strands. They're like little hairs. They're so tiny. I couldn't believe how small these are. And so when he comes in tomorrow, they're gonna splice these little cables. There's 12 of them into a termination thing that's going to go into my equipment rack, and then they're going to run fiber patch cables from that to the router, and that's the game plan. So let's get that cable back up where they left it here. It's killing me not to play with it more because I'm going to break something. And then, again, don't judge the cable management. Now, here's the challenge. The challenge we have is that we are essentially a gigabit network in this house, but the connection over this fiber is providing me a gigabit symmetrical connection and a 2 gigabit symmetrical connection. That's a conundrum because now I've got more bandwidth than I know what to do with, whereas right now I have none. So I'll show you here. This is my UDM Pro, which in full disclosure came in from UniFi. And it gives me like my current throughput here. So you can see where looks like my upstream is going at about 3 and change, which is about, I'm doing about 2.5 megabits per second to restream. So what we've got here is a Netgear 10 gigabit switch that I bought last year. And I've got a direct, they call this DAC, directly attached copper SFP plus. So the uplink here from the router is going 10 gigabits into this. And I'm going to connect up, so I've got 4 ports here. So I'm going to run one upstairs. And I think I'm on Cat 5e for the most part, but the distance to the upstairs from here is not extreme. So tomorrow I have a 10 gigabit, it's a 3-port 10 gigabit switch coming in from QNAP that I bought. And I'm going to run this up to one of its connectors upstairs. And if it doesn't work at 10 gigabits, then I'll run a little fiber patch and do something else. But it's going to connect up to here. That's going to go upstairs. So we're going to have a 10 gigabit link up to the upstairs where the Xbox is and everything else. Now the Xbox and some of the other things don't need 10 gigabit. So that switch, in addition to having 3 10 gigabit ports, has 8 gigabit ports. So all the little things I'll connect to it. But my PC up there and then the Mac where I dock it up there, those I will connect at 10. So those will come down into that port. I'm going to connect my iMac, which is right behind this wall, to this port, and I'll have that one running at probably 5. I have a 5 gigabit USB connector, 5 or 2.5, one or the other. So I want to be able to make use of that full 2 gigabits. And my iMac is an older one, so I don't have a 10 gigabit adapter available for it. And then this one I'll probably run to Jake's computer on the other side of the room here. That one's a little further away, but I think it should work. And we have 10 gigabit built into Jake's computer already. And then the 4th one here, I'm going to connect the production computer that's currently streaming. And that way I can have more bandwidth in the house for doing NDI video and stuff. So that's the plan at the moment. And I should be in good shape. And then the question will be, what do we do with the extra bandwidth? Because I've got a whole nother gigabit on top of the 2 that I'll be able to use. So that's kind of the game plan. So it's going to be fun to see how this is going to work. So we're going to have some fun with playing around with this. And what's kind of neat is, so I was hoping that I could use that 2nd gigabit leg. I was hoping I could use that as a in addition to what I have here, so I could route the kids over the slower leg, just to get everybody off my thing. Like my thing's going to be the 2, everybody else can have the 1. But that router at the moment, even though it supports 2 WAN inputs, so we're going to connect up SFP plus to the Comcast equipment, that router can't run, you can't do rules to route traffic to one WAN over the other. It's just a failover. So I think what I'm going to do at the moment, until I can get that functionality on that router, is I'll probably do a firmware thing for it. I think I'm going to leave the 2nd gigabit port open for things like for router reviews and other things that I review here. And the other thing I might do is put some things out for file transfers and that sort of thing. So it's amazing. Like it's just going to be such a luxury to go from 12 megabits per second to 3,000. So that's going to be good there. And unfortunately, we have somebody spamming us on the Amazon chat, and there's no way to get rid of them at the moment. So unfortunately, that's the way it's going to have to be on there. So let me take some of the questions here. Jojo wants to know if I'm going to go all in on UniFi. Yeah, I think I am. I've been very happy with it. I know it has, like, people complain about it, but I've been pretty happy with it. And it's been, I don't have a crazy setup, but well, I will soon. I don't have a crazy setup here, so I'm not doing a lot of advanced stuff. I have 3 of the UniFi access points. I like the fact that I can run VLANs on those, and that's been working with the IoT stuff. So I'm going to be pretty happy with all of that. So it's going to be good. And Jonathan Suggs brings up the fact that fiber is very delicate, and yeah, that is something that I guess they ran into at the top of the road. Something on the pole at the end of the street, which they're splicing into, something broke over there, so that's why he couldn't get in here. And I'm eager to see him come in tomorrow because I just want to see this in action. He's got like this super expensive fiber splicing device, and I can't even imagine the precision that takes. And he got here like around noon, and he was not done at 7 o'clock over there. But I think they ran into trouble. So I do plan on videoing some of the splicing. I'll show you some B-roll footage of it as they're putting it together. So definitely one-man show. I will definitely try to do that for you. Yeah, we'll give that a shot. Can they split the connection into two? Let me see here. Let's take a few more questions here. Yeah, so this is a product that Comcast offers called Gigabit Pro. And it's not easy to get it. You really have to fight for it. And it's funny because it's not cheap. It's like I'm going to be spending about $320 a month for it. But it's going to solve the live streaming problems. It's going to allow us to do 4K videos here in the channel. So these cameras I have can all do 4K. My new production computer is 4K capable. I just don't have the bandwidth to upload anything at a decent rate of speed. So that's going to be a big change. And we're uploading to a lot of different places. You know, we send stuff to Amazon, to YouTube, and to Plex. And it's just taken so much time to upload. I'm doing 4 or 5 videos a week. So that's what's been crazy. So we'll see how they go there. Travis is asking, can I use the 1 gigabit as a failover? I could totally use it as a failover. Given my experience, though, with the network in the neighborhood here, if I lose one leg, I'm going to lose them both because it's all off the same equipment. What I want to do is once Starlink is available, I will probably purchase Starlink as my failover. So when we lose power, because every time we have a storm now, we lose power for a week. And when the power goes out, even when my power comes back on, if the Comcast equipment isn't energized all the way throughout the area here, we're done. And we're kind of in like this really foresty area. And because fiber is so delicate, when those trees fall, it takes out everything. And the fiber guy was telling me that they were like rebuilding like almost entire towns almost. Like there was just a ton of damage from it. So we'll see what happens. Jonathan wants to know, do I already have low voltage or coaxial runs up to the 2nd floor? Are they going to be ran? Because if they're running them, it's going to be outside and exposed to the elements. So at the moment, no, I don't have. I just have all the wiring is inside the house. So I do have coax running throughout the house, but nothing's exposed to the elements. So they have the wire. So the way this wire is coming into the house is it's spliced on the pole. I'll show you the picture next week. I've got a splice unit on the pole now. It comes down into conduit. So it actually runs under the street, and then it comes into my driveway, and it goes all the way back to this midpoint there's 2 houses behind me. It goes to that, and then it comes back towards me, and then it pops up in here. So I have no wiring outside, but I do want to put some PoE, some Ethernet for PoE outside. So I got to figure out how we do that. Metal here says he went from 150 megabits per second down to 3 megabits. That's got to be pretty bad to go from that speed to that. Oh my goodness. Chris C. wants to know if I'm going to do any reviews of the new graphics cards coming out. I would love to if you can get any of them. I guess it's hard to get them, right? Like people said they couldn't buy them today. So we'll have to see how they get that going. Jonathan says, create a virtual bridge. I used to do them all the time to run them in tandem. I'll have to try some of that stuff. And Jonathan has a note. Yeah, we looked at that when we were going through the WiseLock about how you can set some geo stuff on it. I have not done that just because I just don't like my door unlocking automatically. I like to be in control of that. But yeah, you could set it up to geo-lock it so that when you get in proximity to the lock, it'll just unlock by itself. So you could totally do that. The one thing I really like about HomeKit is that I have my watch on HomeKit. And so I have one lock that is HomeKit compatible. And as I'm walking the dog, I can just go, hey, unlock the door. And it just unlocks for my watch. It's like the future. That's one thing I really enjoy. So it's good stuff. TechFlood says he saw my video on Eversource. I should install an off-grid system. So I do have a generator now. So the good news is that as far as water and heat and air conditioning, whatever the season is, we've got a generator that covers the whole house. It comes on automatically. It's great. It's diesel. That thing, it can run for about, I think, probably a week and a half on a tank, if not 2 weeks. So that thing is all set. It's just that I could have power, but if Comcast on the poles doesn't have power to their equipment, I'm still out. So that's been the big issue. So I think Starlink is going to be a real saving thing for me because I could, whenever we lose it, according to Elon Musk, you stick it in the ground and it will find its satellites. And I won't get super fast uploads, but it'll be faster than my cable is right now. So that's going to be lots of fun. But it's good. Yeah, it is a long run to my house here. It's they've got one cable that runs from. So we have a 1,000-foot run from the pole to the end of the street to a splice there. That's what he was working on today. And then they spliced it on that pole, and then there's probably another 800 feet back and forth. But where I live, like everything's a long distance because we're in a kind of a rural kind of area. So it'll be pretty good. Jojo wants to know, when is Night Shift coming to HomeKit? I thought we should have it by now. Yeah, I got to check. I guess the iOS update just came out. I haven't put it on my phone yet. So I'll have to check that out in a little bit. So I will definitely be checking that out. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good time tonight, and I'm hoping that some of you got in on the discount. I suspect that we might have exceeded the number. I don't know. So I will check with them, and we'll see. And I had some people talking about using Homebridge with the Wyze stuff, and I haven't tried it yet, so I'm going to play with that. Because if I could integrate HomeKit, that would be a fun video to do. So, and I've got Raspberry Pis all over the place. In fact, I just found another one. They're like little mice. They just keep multiplying. So I'm going to try to get a few more there. So TechFlood says, I would go with a solar setup. If the power goes out, gas will be in demand. It's funny, in Connecticut, where I live, if your power is out, you have to disconnect your solar to prevent backfeeding, unless you've got some backfeed protection. You could do a battery backup, so that could work, but I use a lot of power here. That's my next project, is to kind of cut back on my power. So I'm going to try to do that. So, yeah, good stuff. Well, everybody, this was fun. I hope some of you were able to get in on that deal. Like I said, I'll try to figure out why some folks were having trouble with the discount. Unless it's already applying it. That could be what was happening here. But we'll play around. I'll play around with that, just make sure that we get that figured out. And hopefully some of you were able to take advantage of that offer tonight. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. Let me just see one thing here. I was looking on the... Yeah, I'm not sure how usually those discount codes would apply when you go to checkout. So we'll have to play around with that a little bit more. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was doing some late night streams. Thank you, by the way, Travis Rhodes, for your super chat contribution. Much appreciated. I was doing a few of these later evening ones because for a while Amazon was having us do streams on the homepage. So those would usually be during this hour. And I'll probably do that. The one thing that I run into, so my grand plan with this is that we would do a late night stream like once a week or once every other week or something. And whenever I do one, it would be like this, where we got a bunch of stuff we're going to play with and kind of demo, and there's a discount. And it might be that, maybe we're playing some games one night and we've got a discount on a hard drive or something, right? Like, it's not going to be, I guess I don't want to turn this into like the home shopping club. But I think it'd be kind of fun and great for the viewers if, like, hey, you know what? This is something like this Y stuff I legit use. I've bought this stuff and I use it. And you know, if we can get a little discount going for everybody, it's kind of fun to play around with it. So that would be kind of cool. So Jonathan Suggs is my kind of guy. He's got all this stuff going on. He's got his home decked out with all this technology. He's got 2 power walls in his garage. His power went out. He didn't even know it. That's awesome. Yeah, I was pricing out a solar system for the back because I have like really good southern exposure. But my power usage is such that I'll never charge those batteries. So that's what I got to figure out, because I got to put like, I think I got to put like 50 panels out there to make it work. But part of me does want it. I would just love to just go off the grid completely. I think that would be awesome. So one day we'll try that. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate all of the chats. And if you did not get in on the discount, I apologize. I'm going to figure out what was working and what wasn't working with that. And we will investigate. I know some of you were able to take advantage of it, so I know it did work for some. And yeah, it was a fun experiment. So we'll be back again. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming it all this weekend, but as always, there are opportunities for me to stream. And if you want, I can, if you want to follow me on Amazon, you can do that. You can click on my follow button on the Amazon Live thing, and the Amazon app will give you a notification. So do check it out. All right. So that is going to do it for tonight. I apologize if you just got in. It's all over. So we played with a bunch of stuff. This will be archived, so you can check out the archive that will be on lon.tv/livestreams. So thank you for stopping in, everybody. And it looks like that dude just got here. So I apologize for ending right now. So yeah, this was good. Good stuff. Okay, so I will keep you posted on what we're doing with these future discount late night streams. And you know, it's funny, I was just thinking, like, if I was still single, I would be doing these every night. Because, like, why not? Just come down and hang out with your friends all over the world. It's kind of fun. So it's always good stuff. So yep, so that's where we're at. And I will catch you all next time. And I thank you all for tuning in. It's always great to have you all here. Thank you to Travis for the super chat. And thank you for everything, everybody. So good night, and we will be doing this, I am sure, again very soon. So have a good